Oh, jeez.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Discord Racing Association. We are here in the IEC for our prologue here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, the no chicane layout. It is going to be a fantastic race today. We have just about a full lobby. We are waiting on one more individual to go ahead and show up, and then we'll get things underway. So there was qualifying earlier. It was a split quali. The LMP1s went into their own session while I was here chilling out with the GT3 drivers. So it's going to be a fun race here today. I mean, this version compared to the regular quote GP layout that does add the chicane just after turn 13 it's honestly better for this type of racing, and I am actually really looking forward to how this session is going to go ahead and play out. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here today. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekkas. I'll be your host and commentator here today on behalf of the Discord Racing Association, and I'll bring it to start to finish for all 60 action-packed minutes here at Barcelona. It is multi-class racing here, so like I mentioned earlier, we do have two classes that are going to be competing here today. So we have the LMP1s, and we have quite a unique list of LMP1s. We'll do a quick rundown through the grid. Bolden is going to take pole position here in the Audi R18 from 2016, and pretty much the top 6 spots are all Audi R18s with Leninen, Itkonen, Mironi, which I might have mispronounced that, Ray Racer, Taters, all being in the Audi R18, Victorino in the Toyota TS050, and then we have a surprising one to me is Furrow in the GTR LM Nismo, which honestly is probably my favorite car on this grid. Not because it's particularly good, it is a interesting machine. It is a front wheel drive LMP1 machine, which is a bit unusual to say the least. So it's always good to see that. Good to see some variety. And then going down through our GT3 field and all GR3 cars, we have Sleppigen, or Slishpin. I remember mispronouncing that name quite a bit previously when I was here for the WGTC, but we have the Nova Motorsports driver in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, and then we have a Mercedes AMG GT3 by Rantanen, and then it is P11 and P12 are both in the Audi R8 LMS Evo, and then the last two spots on the grid we have Method in the Lexus RCF, and then we have Natty in the Mercedes AMG GT3. So a pretty good variety here in this field. The most surprising one is still that LM Nismo that we see. And I mean, it's probably my most driven like GR1 car that's not a VGT.
I have no idea. Who just checked out? Joke! What the
So we'll see how this one does tend to play out. And yeah, like I said, I am actually really looking forward to how this race is going to go ahead and play out. There's a lot of drivers that are here ready to go. I think we're just waiting on a singular individual, and then we're going to go ahead and get things underway here. So once again, I want to thank you guys so much for popping on in. It's going to be a lot of fun here, and I'm looking forward to bringing you this fantastic prologue here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, brought to you by FuelCan.shop. So no points are here on the line, but the last time that I was here with the DRA, it was another prologue. It was 60 minutes at Brands Hatch, but even then, there was no points on the line there, but the driver still fought tooth and nail for just pride on the racetrack. So you know that this is going to be a very fantastic session. While we are still waiting for drivers, and we're seeing some very questionable messages in the in-game chat, we're going to see if anyone's on track to spectate. There is our LMP1 and overall pole sitter of Bolden driving around in that golden Audi R18, setting purple sectors throughout the chats, or throughout the session, I should say, going through the sectors now. He's already got some good laps in the Audi R8 or R18. So the big thing here is definitely going to be tire management, because the tire degradation around this track is some of the most intense when it comes to just how much the tires degrade around this track. The front left tire is definitely the tire that goes through the quickest, so just be aware of that. If you see tire or massive tire degradation, it's going to be on that front left tire. That's pretty much just how it is. This track has a weird rivalry with any front left tire, and it doesn't matter what kind of car you drive as well. It could be one of these LMP cars, it could be a Super Formula, it could be a GT3, it could be a go-kart. It doesn't matter. Barcelona doesn't care. It just really does not like the front left tire for some reason. But that is going to be something that these drivers are going to have to go ahead and manage. And then traffic navigation too is going to be a big one around this circuit as well. There is some pretty good spots for traffic navigation, and traffic navigation is made a tad bit easier without the chicane in the final few corners. But the best spot to go ahead and make an overtake if you are one of these LMP1 drivers trying to go ahead and go past a GT3 car, your best bet for that is that start finish straight after turn 13, and also probably where in Formula 1 the second DRS zone would be on this circuit, which is right about turn 9, on the exit of turn 9 going down into turn number 10. So I mean, the back straight here is also absolutely massive on this track. It is 0.65 miles just on that back stretch alone, from turn 14 all the way down into turn number 1. 1,047 meters on the circuit. So that is a very long straight, very good opportunity to get some fantastic slipstreams to go ahead and get stuff done. So we'll see how it goes here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. And overall, it is going to be a generationally amazing race here. And it's a good way to kick off the season too, because we do have to wait a bit before we hit our next race, which is the 3 hours of Daytona, which is a race that is actually at my essential, well, when it comes to Gran Turismo, it is my home track, coming from North Florida myself. But yeah, Daytona's gonna be a fun one, because it's a 3 hour long race, so it's a long race. And in general, I mean, Daytona is such a good track for multi-class racing, and it's, every time I've ever been to Daytona, it's always been an absolute blast.
Orange hat.
So I am not going to be surprised that we're going to have a certified banger when we hit there. But that is a few weeks from now. That's actually at the end of the month. That is going to take place on August 23rd. And so you got a few weeks in between that. And I believe the next race that we are going to have is part of our World GT Challenge, which happens on, actually no, correction, that is not the next race. I think the next race is actually the next race that we're doing up here. If you were tuned in last Saturday, we did have the Bathurst 2 hours, which I heard was also a very chaotic but a very fun race, as it typically is with Bathurst. The Mount Panorama circuit being pretty tough in terms of difficulty, and it's really tricky to make good passes around that circuit. So we're just checking in with different drivers as they go through. This isn't a qualifying session. Qualifying happened early on. This is just drivers kind of lapping around the circuit, trying to set some good lap times, get a feel for how the track is going to go ahead and play out. And overall, we are just going to get ready for some very strong racing here today. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. It's going to be pedal to the metal, full throttle action. We're going to see some drivers have some thrills, have some spills, and maybe we may see a surprise winner today. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's action here. It is going to be a formation lap before we go ahead and get started, so the drivers won't rip off the line immediately. So just to give time for the GT3 drivers to kind of pace themselves a bit.
Formation lap.
So here we go. We're about to get started here. You hear those lights, and it's the lights out, and the formation lap is underway. A few drivers getting a little antsy here at the start. Mirone is getting had a bit of a jump start there, so it is 60 minutes, so the 60 minutes has started now, so and we're getting word from race control that it is going to be single file as these drivers make their way through the circuit, so it's going to be a few minutes, and then we're going to be officially green flag racing. So that is pretty much how this race is going to go ahead and play out. Once again, it is Bolden leading us to the line in this LMP1 field. And then when we go down to our P9 position, it is Slishpin going ahead and leading us in the GT3 field. So that is going to be it's going to be an interesting race, because Barcelona in general it's a tricky track. That's why a lot of real life racing teams and leagues in esports like to use this track as a test, whether it is this version that we're currently on or the version with the chicane added in, which is considered the true GP layout. So Barcelona is a track that's known for its testing. It really tests the car. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got flat out straights. It's got low speed corners, medium speed corners, high speed corners. It's got pretty much anything you want. So any particular thing you want to test on a car, then you can certainly do it at this circuit. As we go to make our way into sector number 2, as Bolden goes ahead and continues to lead us. The top 6 in the LMP1 category are all in Audis. Now we know that the Audi, compared to other cars in this class, has best in class battery usage. Actually reminds me of a time I was doing a race for Enduro GT, and the Toyota's battery life, which we don't have a Toyota. I think we have one Toyota on the grid, but the Toyota's battery life really suffered in comparison to some of the other cars. Yeah, there's the Zenith Racing machine of Victorino, the Polish driver going ahead and locking in.
Before
getting ready.
To the end there, begin double file here. Start beginning the double file up now.
We're getting word from race control that it is double file happening now, so the teams and drivers are allowed to go double file as we go ahead and get started with the race here today. The Nexus racing car of Bolden is going to go ahead. He needs a bold start here to keep this lead going down into turn number 1. And the field has paced themselves a bit. And we're about to go ahead and get racing here for 60 minutes here. And we're about to go racing. And we're underway. Bolden now making his way down into turn number 1 to kick off the prologue here at Barcelona. He's going wide to make the best cut he possibly can going into turn number 1, and he does so brilliantly. And now let's go take a look at the GT3 field. How are they getting along? A little bit of a snap there from Rantanen in the back, as Kreppy is getting close and looking for a potential opportunity here. The two Audi RA teammates of Sparkane and Kreppy are both going to try to work together. They need to work together. They want to catch this top pack. And it looks like there's going to be a bit of a probably unintentional change of positions as Kreppy goes a bit wide there on the exit. And Natty is going to go and try to fire it up the inside, try to go ahead and get around the French Audi of Kreppy. They're both side by side now going into turn number 8. And it looks like Kreppy is going to hold on to that position for now. So it's a very good start here from some of these drivers. Check it back up to the front of the field. It's a very good start for Bolden. He's already about 2 seconds ahead of the fellow Audi in second place. The GT Finland Racers machine of Lenonen doing a very good job here, staying in P2. His teammate, though, is under a bit of pressure from Taters here. So Taters now trying to get right up in the gearbox of the Audi just up ahead. And we'll see if the number 98 can get a good enough run to make a move here going into turn number 2. So or turn number 1, sorry. He's pretty much right up on the gearbox, pretty much directly within that rear wing just about, but it is so hard to follow through parts of this track considering the dirty air that is given off of the back of these LMP1 machines, as we have Ray Racer now from CLR trying to go ahead and get closer to this pack.
Was that desync? I didn't hit you.
And Furrow actually has moved up 2 positions now. So the underdog of the Nissan is up in the 6th right now overall. So got past an Audi and got past the Toyota. Qualified just about last in the LMP1s. But now is up in the 6th. Still a pretty considerable gap to Raid Racer just up ahead, about 5.4 seconds ahead in the Audi. But I mean, seeing an Audi fight against a Nissan is pretty interesting. But take a look at the battery life between these cars. The Nissan's already out of battery. It's going to be a potential switchback here, but the Nissan just doesn't have the acceleration, just doesn't have the grip, considering its front-wheel drive drivetrain. It's weird because it's the only car in this LMP1, or any GR1 for that matter, that is front-wheel drive. It has a FF powertrain, so front engine, front-wheel drive is pretty much how this Nissan tends to operate. So it does have a bit of understeer, but it's even going to put more pressure on that front left tire, because the front tires on the Nissan do tend to burn out significantly quicker than the other cars in the field. So that's going to be a bit of a rough one for the Nissan, and this is really a tricky track to manage this Nissan on. But credit for even picking up the Nissan. Let's check down into the GT3, see how this battle is going on. It is a battle for the lead here in GT3. Rantanen trying to get past Sledgepen here. The Nova Motorsports driver under attack from the Zenith Racing Mercedes. And Sledgepen does manage to stick it, but for how long? Because it looks like that Mercedes does have some really strong pace here in today's race. It is a very good start here from Rantanen. Very good start indeed. We'll just have to see how the rest of this race does play out. It is going to be, I mean, it's a long race, so drivers do have plenty of time to go ahead and make things happen. And hello, Jeanbon. I probably mispronounced that. I do apologize, but welcome on to the stream. Thank you so much for tuning on into the Prologue race here at Barcelona. It is a very strong race here so far. We do have a battle for the lead in the GT3 class between Rantanen and Sledgepen here, the Nova Motorsports driver and the Zenith Racing driver, both duking it out for P1. It looks like the Lamborghini from Nova Motorsports of Sledgepen does have a bit of advantage right now so far, but once again, we're only about 8 minutes in to a 60-minute race here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. And the wind right now isn't too bad, but we do know that the wind can affect the drivers, and I think Rantanen must have had a moment there. Rantanen spun around. Let's go and see if we can get that on a replay to see what happened here to the Zenith Racing driver. So here's what happens. So does he get too much into the grass here on the exit of turn 11? Oh, he gets way onto the gravel and just kind of spins it from there. So that is the spin from Rantanen. So unfortunate there for the Finnish driver, dropping down to the back of the grid in this, well, in the overall, let alone the GT3 field. Coming back up to the LMP field, things are pretty much spread out here in this field. There isn't really too much of a close battle pretty much anywhere in this field. It is a pretty wide array of cars, and here's just the thing I was talking about earlier. The top 6 cars were in the Audi R18. I mean, just taking a look at their battery life, and then we dropped down to the Toyota of Victorino, and that battery is just about gone. We drop a position lower to the Nissan, and that battery is actually pretty full. But earlier on, when it was going down that back straight, yeah, actually before it even hits the straight, you already have to kind of drop the car differently because of how much this car just uses up its battery. I mean, the Toyota's in the same situation, but look at the tire wear. The tire wear is already starting to take effect here, with Victorino currently suffering the most on that front left, like we talked about earlier. Surprising, well, I guess different tire compounds too, so the racing mediums are naturally just going to be more durable than those racing soft tires that Victorino is using at the moment. But just doing a tire check through the rest of the field, the rest of the, well, with the exception of Bolton, the rest of the LMP1s are using that medium tire compound, so they're going to get a bit more pace than the hards, but they're going to have more endurance than the soft tire. So it's a bit of a trade-off there. It is pretty much the middle ground when it comes to the racing tires. If you're unfamiliar with how the racing tires work in most series, for a matter of fact, but in particular with Gran Turismo, the hard tires are basically your durable tire that can go for the most amount of laps out of any of the racing compounds available, but they don't have the pace of the medium or the soft tire. The soft tire has the most pace but the worst tire life, and then that medium is that middle ground. in between the two tires. So if you see somebody running the medium, they're going to go for a moderate distance. If you see someone running the soft tire like Bolden was earlier, then they're going to go for the most pace humanly possible. And especially around the track like Barcelona, that is a very big contributing factor onto how Bolden has already pulled away about a 5-second gap to Lennon in P2. Jumping back down to the GT3s here just for a bit, it looks like we're going to have a bit of a battle here for the podium spot. And Natty's moved up quite a few positions because Natty started towards the back of the grid when it comes to the GT3s and already made himself up into the top 3 positions here in this GT3 field. So he is under attack from Creppy though, but we'll see if he can keep that position. We know that the Mercedes is a very strong car. There's a blue flag already given out, and Bolden is already trying to make his way through the lap's field of traffic here. So on lap 7 out of who knows how many, it is Bolden the first one to come across lap traffic. And now traffic in general can really either make or break your race when it comes to multi-class racing. I would say honestly, typically in racing, your race is going to pretty much rely on 2 separate factors, about 50-50. It comes to pace and it comes to strategy and a little bit of outside events like a safety car or like a, well, pretty much like a safety car, full course caution, a red flag, etc. So, I mean, we may see safety cars here today, especially if the traffic doesn't cooperate, but when you do in multi-class racing, it really becomes a threefold focus. You have to put about 33.3% when it comes to your actual race pace, another portion to your strategy, and then that third part is that traffic management, whether you're a GT3 or an LMP1. Because if you're a GT3, you have to get out of the way for these faster cars, so you have to just move out of the way for these LMP1 cars or else you get penalized. So if you're having a battle as a GT3, you really got to be careful, because you really got to not give up your position, but you also have to make way for the LMP1 to get through. So, and if you're one of the LMP1 cars, you have to worry about a GT3 battle potentially happening just up ahead of you. And there's parts of this track where trying to overtake a GT3 car is just not ideal. I mean, if we look at the backstretch right out of the exit of turn 13, where Bolden is just exiting, on the other layout of this track that is used here for competitive racing, and just in Gran Turismo competitive in general, there is a layout that adds a chicane right after turn 13, so making it like turn 13, 14, into 14, 15, and 16. And that part right there is just incredibly hard to make any kind of overtake on a GT3 car, which could in turn back you up into a battle against your rival if your LMP2 or LMP1 rival is right behind you. But that isn't the case at the moment, as Method does let the LMP2 of CLR go ahead and go through. The Ray Racing driver going ahead and just getting on through. I believe it's one of the last LMP1 cars to go ahead and make its way through this lap traffic. We're gonna hop on board now as it gets past Natty.
I did not see you there. Holy crap.
That was a very dicey move there, but sometimes you just got to take risks if you want to get past as an LMP1 driver. So sometimes that kind of thing just tends to happen. It's interesting that this field's already getting mixed up, but it just shows the raw pace of the Audis, because it's an extra 2 laps before Victorino is already approaching the first GT3 car. He's going to go ahead and just slingshot on past the Zenith Racing Toyota TSL50, making his way through. But that just shows you the massive pace differential between the Audis and the Toyota and Nissan. It's just such a big gap between these cars. And I mean, the Nissan feels it the worst, because the Nissan will burn through its front tires quicker than anybody else on a track that already kind of abuses these front tires, particularly that front left. But I mean, it's all to play for you. Anything can happen. I mean, it could be a moment where a safety car really brings Furrow back into this. So we'll see how this one plays out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Whoa.
And so we'll see here what's going to happen. Slushman now is kind of in the midst of battles with these LMP machines. So we'll see. I mean, thankfully we haven't had any contact at least anything I've seen between a GT3 and a LMP1. So that is always good to see. I like to see that respect and good sportsmanship amongst the classes, but it's not always going to be that way. So sometimes accidents happen, and sometimes you're so locked into a battle as a GT3 you really just don't see any of the other cars really fighting because you're really focused on the car that's in your rear view mirror. Like the situation we may see Rantanen and Natty into soon, because this is a battle for a podium once again in the GT3 field. It is Mercedes on Mercedes violence here at Barcelona. On lap number 9, we're about a quarter of the way into this Grand Prix at the moment, or this endurance race I should say. But yeah, I mean, Rantanen is making up ground in that Zenith Racing Mercedes. He's closing in on the full velocity racing machine of Natty, just up ahead, the number 22 VFR Mercedes. Under a bit of pressure now from the ZR Mercedes, just directly behind. And sort of colors that kind of remind me of Lewis Hamilton's helmet from a few years ago. Probably some of his earlier helmets when he would run that purple and lime. And it's pretty interesting it's on a Mercedes because he primarily wore those colors when he was dominating at Mercedes. So a good little reference if it was intentional. Even if it was unintentional, it's still really cool to see. The number 26 Mercedes trying to go ahead and lock in to go ahead and get past. So it's a blue flag again. So there is an LMP1 behind.
Fucking hell.
And that is the Nissan of Furrow. So we'll see. And I mean, look at that front left. That front left is absolutely shredded on that Mercedes. The racing soft tires are really not working out super well here for some of these drivers. I think the only driver that's really benefited from that soft tires is Bolden out in front. 10.7 seconds ahead. Just insane gaps in that Audi on that soft tire. His tire management is looking very solid as well. Same with the energy management. So we're going to take a look at Furrow, who is just getting through some of that GT3 traffic now, as the LMP cars are pretty far spread out. But here's a battle here for P6 overall. It is Toyota versus Audi. We know the Audi is going to have that battery advantage on the Toyota. The Toyota coming through the final corner has no battery available. Oh, but oh, here we go. It's our first pit stop of the race. Oh, there's damage. 1 point of damage. The front arrow is a bit messed up on the Audi, so not enough to bring out a safety car, because with DRA rules, a safety car is only called in when there is 2 points of damage on the car, and that car only had 1 point of damage. So just looking through to see if anyone actually did have 2 points of damage. That is not the case for anyone, so no safety car yet, as we are about a third of the way through the race. Not quite there yet, but in about 2 minutes, or about a minute and a half actually, we will be at the first third of the way through this race stage.
Dude,
so
why can I fucking brake for turn 1?
Rantanen is also going to come into the pits. He doesn't have damage, but that front left tire is damaging his lap time, so he's got to go ahead and make the switch. If I were to make a guess, he's probably going to throw on the mediums, because the hard tires in Gran Turismo 7 are a very unpopular choice. And yes, he did switch over to the medium tires, which I mean, that was probably for the best, but honestly, I mean, you might have made it to the end on the hards. But considering the type of track Barcelona is, the hards are probably one of the worst tires you can possibly go on at the moment in terms of just pure pace. But they are very durable, so you got to think about, would you rather sacrifice pace or durability? And something very crazy right now is that we're actually about to see lapped LMP traffic here. Although it is worth noting that the LMP car of Mirion did make a pit stop, so that is the reason why Mirion is so far back, having a pit stop. The first LMP car to actually make a pit stop, Victorino, is just behind, making his pit stop now in the Toyota. We'll see about Furrow. Furrow is actually doing really good on his tires, considering how that Nissan tends to act. So we're actually going to go ahead and take a step away and do an onboard lap with the Nissan, and we'll be right back. Alright, so that was an onboard lap with the Nissan furrow there. So that was a very good lap indeed. A 1:32.049. So, I mean, he hasn't lost too much pace in that Nissan, like, in terms of just tire degradation, because the tires are holding on very well on that medium. So it was very interesting to see. I'm actually surprised that the mediums have held on for as long as they have on the Nissan in particular. But the mediums, I mean, it's worse tire wear than the other cars, which is to be expected because of just the distribution of power all going to the front wheels for the Nissan is going to put more stress on those front tires. But still, very impressive tire management there from Furrow, as Lennon does go to make his pit stop, swapping out tires. Oh, he had front wing damage too. So, once again, not enough to call out a safety car, because once again, with DRA, you need 2 points of damage to call out a safety car or a full course caution. But, so still a little bit of front damage on some of these cars. Haven't seen anything yet, but got to give credit for Kreppy for making his way to lap 13 on those same set of soft tires, because those things are fried beyond belief. So, I mean, then again, a lot of the front runners here, or at least the front running cars at the moment, are on that soft tire. So, our podium currently sits at both of the Audi R8s of Kreppy and Sparkane, both drivers from the same team. And then you have Sledgepin on the softs as well, the Lamborghini Huracan. So, cars on the similar platform are pretty much running similar strategies, considering that the Audi R8 and the Lamborghini Huracan share quite a few similarities in just their construction and how they're presented. But taking a look at Victorino here, Victorino is currently in P8, quite a bit of ways away. He did pit earlier on. Furrow is actually up to 6, but he'll probably drop down several positions when he goes ahead and makes the change onto probably another set of mediums, I would assume. But he's probably going to try to go for as long as he can, or maybe try to go until about half race distance and then go ahead and switch onto the softs maybe. Although I feel like the softs really haven't been...
Was there a crash there?
I don't think the softs really have been working a lot. I haven't seen any... It's nice that... Oh, we have a car off track, but that is no damage to Ray. Let's see what happens there, because I wonder if that was just going a bit wide there. So here's the replay on Ray Racer. Yeah, just going a bit wide there throughout turn 3, so that's nothing to really be concerned about. Yeah, just going a bit wide. No issue, no damage, no cause for concern. But it's really it's really interesting on how Bolden is still just... He's managing these soft tires extremely well. But now the Audi is starting to run out of battery, but I mean, it's held on to its battery for this long, which is super impressive. I mean, that's why when it comes to LMP1 competitions, the Audi is usually the go-to for most drivers. So, we'll see. Oh, that's a bit of a moment, and that's a crash in the pits, and that's 2 points of damage, so I believe that does warrant a safety car.
You gotta, yeah, if it's 2 points, call it.
Yep, it is getting command from race control.
Alright, safety car.
Safety car is out.
Pits are closed, pits are closed. If you're already in there, you're fine.
Yep, and pits are now closed. We're gonna go ahead and just relay that to chat.
Do not pit now, so flow, you pit, that's flow. You can only do emergency service. You cannot pit. Pits are closed, guys.
Yep, pits are indeed closed. Some drivers taking advantage of the early moments there. So it is a safety car. So pits are indeed closed for now. Because there was a crash into the pit lane. Sledgepin, he crashed into pits, damaging a suspension component and the front aero. So that is in the rules, even though it wasn't the pits, that is indeed a safety car.
About like 60 miles per hour.
And remember the drivers have to remain around 60 miles an hour, which Ray Racer is actually still going at full racing pace, so that is definitely worth noting. Ray Racer is actually still racing. I think he still believes the race is actually on.
Young as yeet. you boxed. You guys can't be boxing right now.
He may actually just be okay. So some drivers didn't, or kind of ignored. Some drivers may be ignoring the pit thing, as I'm hearing from race control. Hopefully that's not the case. I think Ray Racer is just trying to catch up to the back of this pack. He is still going at full racing speed, but I think he is just trying to catch up to the back of the pack, which I believe is perfectly okay. But he cannot overtake any of these cars, which really kind of diminishes that lead that Bolden had. Oh yeah, P just caught up to the back of the grid, and now he is tucked in right in behind. So we'll see. So Rantanen is our current leader in the GT3 category. Let's just make a rundown of our drivers here at the moment. So Bolden is in the first place overall in the Audi R18, and then we have Ray Racer, who is in second place. He is behind the other cars, but the other cars are indeed lap traffic. And then we have Itkonen in third, who is making his way to the back of this pack. His teammate also trying to make his way to the back of the pack. And then we have Tatters, who is currently P5, who is also trying to make his way to the back of the pack. A lot of these LMP drivers trying to make their way to the back of the pack. There is no overtaking allowed. You cannot enter the pit lane until the pits are officially opened, which hasn't been the case yet. They will be open when race control says they're open. So we'll see whenever that call comes through. Because I feel like Bolden is going to be the first one to go ahead and take that advantage and go ahead and jump into the pit lane to swap out those soft tires. But he can't yet. The pits are still closed. We'll get a notification on when they are open, and once race control informs me that the pits are indeed open, then I will relay that to the racers.
Guys, pit lane is still closed because we have not bunched up yet, so do not box yet.
Okay, so pits are still closed. So I'm hearing from race control that it is still closed pit lanes. So we're still waiting for the drivers to go ahead and bunch up through the field. So we have half of the LMP field already in this bundle. So I think the only LMP drivers we're missing Tatters, and we're missing Mirone in terms of the LMP field that still needs to bunch up here. So most of the field is backed up, or back here now. So Furrow and Victorino are here because they are lap traffic. So they are here. I think Tatters is back up to the group, so we're waiting on Mirone is the last driver that we are waiting on, and he is actually towards the back of the pack where this GT3 field is, so let's see how this one plays out. It's going to be a very interesting restart because in between the race leader and the driver in P2, there are two lapped LMP cars that he's going to have to go ahead and try to get through, which, depending on the part of the track, is going to be easier said than done, and it depends on when Bolden goes ahead and sends it once we do go green.
Yes.
So we'll see how this one does play out. It's going to be an interesting restart for certain.
Yeah.
Because of that, and then even for the other drivers, there's LMP or GT3 cars kind of in between these cars. So we're over half race distance now, and it is a safety car, or the closest thing we can get to a safety car. So a full course caution is called. So every driver will have to slow down to around 60 miles an hour, roughly around that ballpark. So no overtakes can be made. If you're a lapped car, you stay in your position. You can't be overtaken. So, and I think everybody's just about bunched back up here. We're waiting on one car.
Be open to end of this lap.
All right, so
pit lane is open. Go ahead and put that in chat, Rekkas.
Yep, pits are going to open at the end of the lap. The beauty of having a keyboard. So at the end of this lap, pits will be opened up, so drivers can go ahead and make their pit stops. You could make a pit stop previously, but only for emergency repair. So if you had front damage, or if you were involved in the incident, you could make a pit stop to go ahead and fix those components. But otherwise, you cannot do anything else, or you couldn't make a pit stop otherwise. So we'll see. We'll see who decides to take the pits at the end of this lap, and we'll see who decides to go out. It is still a safety car, so there is the race isn't going yet, but the pits are indeed open now that everybody's pretty much just bunched up and waiting. We'll see who's going to go ahead and make the pits. If I were to make a good assumption, I would assume that probably Bolden will be one of the first cars to dive into the pits. Yes, he is. He's in. Furrow's in. They're going to make the pit stop. They're going to go ahead and shed those tires. So the pits are indeed open. We're seeing Furrow and Bolden and CLR Ray Racers also coming into the pits as well. So a few cars making those pit stops. Marone is actually making another pit stop in P6. So definitely going to potentially switch to those medium tires. Any of the GT3 cars make a pit stop.
No.
Rantanen has made a pit stop. So Rantanen is into the pits. Interesting because he's got pretty much almost brand new tires. I think he's maybe had 1 or 2 racing laps on those mediums. And then the safety car came out. So, but might as well just take the chance, get some fresh tires, fuel up. That's probably going to be the big thing in this pit stop is getting fuel in that Mercedes to try to carry him up to the end. All right, so
Jonas, 100 kph if you can, 100 kph.
So P7 and P8 can unlap themselves. So I have been given that information. So let's go ahead and tell these two that they can unlap.
No, not yet.
I was told by DRA to let them unlap.
We'll wait until we get to the back straight.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when we get to the back straight, listen up. When we get to the back straight, we will unlap. So basically, the cars that need to unlap can unlap, and then we will reorder the classes. So GT cars stay to the left.
So Race Command, I know you can't hear Race Command, but Race Command is instructing the drivers on how this is going to go. So the unlapped cars will go ahead, or the lapped cars will go ahead and get the chance to unlap themselves. So that would be P7 and P8. And then also we're going to go ahead and reorder the classes so GT3 isn't mixed
GT
into
cars
the middle.
stay left. LMP cars may pass right now.
LMP cars are given the green light to go ahead and pass.
GT cars slow down, please.
GT3s have been given the slowdown, so we're doing our procedure to go ahead and reorder.
Stay to the left.
We're pretty much given the order just to get everything situated and get ready for a clean race restart. So the GT cars are allowing the LMPs to go through, so there's no GT3 car kind of mixed in the middle of everybody. So once we get to the back straight, the 2 lapped LMP1 cars can go ahead and unlap themselves and get back into their proper position, which is just P7 and P8.
The 2 LMP1 cars, if you are a lap, please go pull ahead and unlap yourselves.
Yep, so Victorino has already started.
We are not going yet, guys.
Victorino has already started his unlapping process. He is on the back straight, so now he is going to go full speed and go ahead and get himself
Ruben,
unlapped.
You may go ahead.
So Furrow is going to go ahead as well. He's going to go ahead and race. I'm sorry?
No, you're good. You guys. I was making sure you went.
Yeah. Okay. So just I'm having communication with the race director at the moment. So so Victorino and Furrow have been given the green light to go ahead and unlap. So they will go ahead and go full racing speed and get to the back of this field. They'll line up behind Mirone and CLR. And then the GT3 field will be given the chance to go ahead. Actually, the GT3 field will have to let those lapped LMP1 cars through, but they don't have to do anything else really. Just gotta wait for those 2 LMP1 cars to go ahead and let them through. And then we'll be under green flag racing conditions here very, very shortly. So we do appreciate you guys sticking around. If you guys are still with us, thank you guys so much. Go ahead and drop a follow if you are new here, so you don't miss any of the upcoming races that we'll be having here. So we'll go ahead.
These guys catch up. So
once again, thank you guys so much for watching the stream. If you have followed already, thank you guys so much. And hopefully you guys enjoy what you're watching and you'll stick around. And if you're a new follower, thank you so much for following us here at the Discord Racing Association. hopefully you will come back for all of our future races because we have some fantastic races
Victorino,
coming
you
up
may overtake
in
the
multiple
GT cars. Let
in
him pass,
multiple
guys.
different
Let him
categories.
pass.
We're gonna have some excellent racing, and the race director is just
Yeah,
saying
he's
that
catching
the
to back to
GT3 cars have to let these lapped LMP cars in, and then I think we'll be going back to green flag conditions here very
Rubens
shortly.
hasn't caught up yet.
So we're still waiting on one LMP1 car to catch up.
Catch up here. If not, we're gonna have to do one more lap.
Alright, so it's looking likely that it may be one more safety car lap before we get going, depending on if Furrow catches up. We'll hop on board now with the Nissan as he goes ahead and makes his way through.
Ruben to catch up.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think it's looking pretty likely it's going to be one more lap, so. And then we'll be under.
We will go green this lap. Green this lap. Ruben,
alright, never mind. We are going to go green this lap.
Single file, yes, single fire. Go ahead, Ruben, catch up to the back of LMPs.
Yeah, Furrow is now catching up. Oh, almost got collected by a GT3 car there, so.
Yeah,
a little
green
bit
this
of a,
lap.
Yep, it is green
Please go
this lap.
when you're in the restart zone, guys.
So Conan is going to lead us to green here. We're going to go ahead and put foot to the floor, pedal to the metal, and we are going to be green here momentarily. Conan's going to lead us to the green flag. And we are good for racing. And Conan goes ahead and puts the throttle down. And now he is off. The GT Finland racers are in P1 and P2. Bolden going to try a move maybe around the outside. He's trying to stick it. Tatters trying to make a move here. We'll see if the Tater Tot can go ahead and make a move. He doesn't. But he's still got Bolden on for pressure. Bolden is trying to go ahead and stay as close as he can to Lenonen, and it's a spin! It's a spin for Bolden! Oh, how does he get through that without collecting anybody? I do not know. It looked like a Nissan even phased through him here. To the miracle.
Is there any damage there?
There's no damage!
Okay.
A miracle there! Let's go ahead and check this again on a replay. We'll see what happens. It looks like both him and Ray Racer go ahead and just go a bit wide there. And, oh yeah, he just got spun on his own, so,
Whoa, shit.
yeah, I don't see any damage on any of these cars. We'll check with the LMP1 see if there's any damage. No damage on any of the LMP1s. There is an LMP or GT3 off in the backfield, but no damage on him either. Just a bit of a slide, it looks like. So, a clean restart here on the first lap of the restart. So, it is a GT Finland racer 1-2 at the moment, with Conan ahead of Lenonen. Taters is in P3, hoping this race doesn't end in tatters. And then we have Ray Racer in P4, Mirone in P5, Victorino in P6, looking to make a move on the Audi actually. He's going to try to send it into turn number 1. Does the Toyota get it? Yes, he does. What a dive. Laid on the brakes, using that Toyota to good effect here as the 7th racing driver moves up into P5. And then Furrow is going to go ahead and still be within the wheel tracks. And that is Victorino off. Victorino is off. And it's another safety car. 2 points of damage. 2 points of damage.
Safety car.
It's another safety car. It is 2 points of damage. He's hurt that front left suspension and the front arrow on that Toyota. And that is safety car number 2 of this race. We got going for a few laps here, but that damage is rough. And I believe pits are going to be closed here, just waiting on the official go-ahead.
Yes, pits are closed, guys. Pits are closed. The first lap here. Pits are closed. Pits are closed.
So the pits are indeed closed off now.
Until the GT's cars pass, and then we'll open them. This
Yep.
should be a pretty quick safety car, though, guys.
Yeah, we're just getting word that is likely to be a very quick safety car because the GT cars aren't super far back. So they can go ahead and catch up. And that's going to be a bit of a sigh of relief for the pole sitter of Bolden because he had a bit of a moment there, which led him to get spun around. And it's still a miracle how he didn't end up crashing and pulling out the safety car a lap earlier. But it's really going to help him stay pretty close to this field and potentially get another chance to claw his way up through the ranks and try to get back into a
100K
podium
PH
position.
right now until the GTs catch up. Then for you right now, for Jonas, stay at 100K PH.
I had to take a bit of a drink there. This is going to be for all the viewers at home. This is your official Rekkas hydration warning. Go ahead and hydrate yourself. Hydration is very important. I know Monster Energy tastes good, Rogue Energy tastes good. I've seen a few Rogue sponsors on these cars.
Jonas, you can pick up the pace.
But go ahead and hydrate. Make sure you get water, because water is very important.
Pits are open on this lap, guys. Pits are open now.
So pits are indeed open on this lap. We'll go ahead and notify the drivers. So pits are open this lap. So now it actually could work out really well for Victorino, who does have damage on that Toyota. The front left suspension and the front aerodynamics are damaged on that Toyota. So that is a very, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. He is going to end up at the very back of this pack, but he'll be able to catch up. And then we should be under green flag conditions, because I don't believe anyone else is damaged. So it'd just be the one car of Victorino, and most drivers have already just made a pit stop, so they won't be needing to make another. Victorino may stay up a bit longer for fuel, but I'm not too sure about that. Maybe he might have enough fuel to get to the end, considering the safety car, but he might top off just in case, so he does have the fuel save, and he could just go ahead and push that Toyota to its limits and beyond. Try to go ahead and get that Zenith Racing Toyota machine
one car
into
length,
a better
guys.
spot.
Don't be sniffing each other's butts.
And just the race director giving a gentle reminder to go ahead and be sure that there is still a good amount of a gap to each driver, so there's no carnage at a restart or anything of the sort. The hazards are on for pretty much all these cars that have visible hazards for the most part, so just take a look through this field here. Yeah, I mean, this really benefits the GT Finland racers, because Ikonin's on the soft tires.
Pit lane is open. We are not starting this lap. Pit lane is open.
Pit lane is officially open now, so drivers can go ahead and make their pit stops if they so desire. But Ikonin and Lenonen are both on brand new soft tires, so I don't think anyone's going to come into the pits aside from... Oh, Ray Racer's actually coming into the pits, so Ray Racer's going to dive on into the pits. I knew Victorino was going to come into the pits because he had damage, so I was expecting that to go ahead and take place. So that's going to still leave Ikonin in the lead of this race. Tatters will get promoted to third, and the other drivers will drop way down the order as we are.
I don't know why you can't hear me. That's so weird.
We're about down to the final 15 minutes of the race. We are 3/4 of the way through.
You must have me muted.
We're about to go in and start the fourth quarter. So we're about to go ahead and get going here very, very soon. Maybe. I'm still going to wait for a race director. I think we have to wait for the LMP cars that are pitted in to go ahead and catch back up.
Ray Racer, Victorino, you guys may overtake the GT cars. Catch up to the LMP1 class.
Ray Racer and Victorino have just been given the heads up to go ahead and overtake the GT3s and get them right to the back of these LMP machines to go ahead and get past all the cars out of their class. The GT cars get out of the way, and we are all perfectly bunched up.
We will go green this lap, green this lap.
And then we are going to go green this lap. Going to go to get green at the end of this lap, so it's going to be Ikonin leading the field to green here. We're actually going to jump on board with the GT3 leader for this restart. We're going to hop on board with Sparkane and the Audi R8, who's going to go ahead and take us to green flag conditions. So we're going to go ahead and see how this is going to work. Less than 15 minutes left on the clock. So it's a lot of racing left to go here. Anything can happen here in the final quarter of this prologue here. There may be no points on offer for today, but the racers' prides are going to be on the line. They're going to want the satisfaction of winning here in the prologue. It is going to be a it's going to be a hectic restart. I'm going to tell you that one, folks. So you guys are definitely not going to want to miss it. Make sure you have your favorite drink, your favorite snack. Sit back, kick back, and get ready. Because this race restart is going to be a fantastic restart and a fanatic sprint down to the finish line. As we're about to go to wrap up here the final few minutes of this race.
Someone tell Ferric that it's green this lap.
It is going to go ahead and it's going to be green this lap. So once we go ahead and make our way through turn number 14, the drivers are given the green light to full on send it. Once Conan makes the full send, it'll be a full send to the green light. We'll be on board with the GT3 cars on the restart, just to see how these GT3 machines handle it. So we're gonna go ahead and hop on board. We're gonna hop onto the hood cam, and we're back racing here at Barcelona. We are back under green flag conditions, and actually it's a very good restart there from Sparkane. Doing a fantastic restart here, making his way down into turn number 1. A fantastic start.
Whoa,
as Natty is
you are bouncing off a wall, dude.
Natty is trying to get past the Audi R8, but it looks like there may be a bit of connectivity with the Audi R8 as Natty is trying to go ahead and get anything going here. He's lost the position on the restart. He's going to try to take it back. The Mercedes and the Audi, the two German rivals that are the two German machine rivals, the American versus the Frenchman, trying to battle out. And Ransonen is directly behind in the Mercedes from Zenith Racing, going to go and try to get a move done as well. So it's a very strong gaggle here towards the back for the final podium position here in this GT3 field.
So much, dude?
And then we have Method here, who hasn't had the strongest of races, but he's in a good spot. And it's a bit of contact between Natty and Creppy. No damage on either car though, but it is feisty out here in this GT3 field. Absolutely cinematic. A bit of weaving there from the Zenith Racing driver as we make our way to the first lap since the restart. And this is just all kicking off here in the back for these GT3 cars. This is absolutely cinematic racing coming through here. Absolutely fantastic. Let's go and jump back on board with the LMP1s here. A bit of a drag race down the straight. Trying to go ahead and see if we see any kind of moves. Taters now is trying to stick to the back of the German driver just up ahead of Marone. Gonna try to go ahead and catch up and stay glued to the back. There's still a chance for a podium in this race here today. He's still gonna give it everything as we ride on board in the cockpit with Taters trying to go ahead and maybe make a move here. We'll see. Oh, it's a bit of a snap for both Audis, as a matter of fact. So both Audis having a bit of a snap here as we take a look just directly behind us. And this is such a cool shot to see. And CLR goes airborne into the wall. Surprisingly, once again, there's no damage. So these LP cars are definitely built for tough, as there's not a single Ford on track. But still, that is... You know, the amount of times, in my times as a commentator, I've seen an LMP car bounce or go at least partially airborne. If I had $1 for every time I've seen that, I would have $3, which isn't a lot, but it's really wild. It's happened 3 separate times. So that is that's actually pretty neat to see that, but I'm just glad for the sake of the racers and for the race, as we're down to less than 10 minutes to go, is that there's not another safety car coming out.
Why are you moving so much on the braking, bud?
So, hopefully... Oh, and Creppy is off track. We'll see what happened there via a replay. So, fighting here against Natty. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, I believe the replay is actually broken. Oh, yep, he goes deep there. So... The replay, oh no, the replay has actually broken itself. That is pretty unfortunate. We're going to go and try to see if we can fix this one real quick, folks. Yep, so we're going to leave and rejoin the lobby. It'll be a quick fix. The replay system in Gran Turismo does tend to break itself every so often, so we'll be back as soon as humanly possible. but it will be a slightly affected stream here. So we'll be rejoining the room. I do apologize for that. The replay system does like to have a bit of a moment sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and rejoin the lobby. Bathurst had the same things happen for Ray, so she's jumped twice. So I think Ray might want to consider a career in rally racing because clearly she can handle the jumps pretty well. There are some pretty decent rally tracks here in this game. I know rally isn't the fan favorite here in Gran Turismo, but I mean I think some of the rally stuff can be fun. But we're not here for rally, although a 24 hours or a endurance race in rally cars would be pretty wild to see, I would think. But we are jumping back here into live action here very, very shortly. And we are back into the race. So this race has been going on for quite some time now. It's only 8 minutes left to go. And it'll take a moment for the timing tower to go ahead and reset. But for all intents and purposes, Conan is our current race leader. He is in the lead overall. And then taking a look at the LMP or GT3 field, it looks like Sledgepin is potentially Sledgepin's the leader in the GT3 class. So Sledgepin in the lead of the GT3s with Conan in the lead of the LMPs. So things will reset here momentarily. When you leave and rejoin a lobby for trying to fix the replay bug, it does take a moment for the lobby to go ahead and reset, to kind of reset itself. So it'll reset in due time. But as of right now, there is less than 7 minutes to go. So we're about 6.5 minutes left to go in this race. So probably a good 3 to maybe 4 laps, give or take. So that is pretty much what we are working with here in this Grand Prix, or in this endurance race, this prologue here. There it goes. Now the times have officially started resetting. Conan has been given the blue flag, but that is just a bug as the timing tower goes ahead and sorts itself out. So it is a GT Finland Racers 1-2 at the moment. The Audi R18 once again proving its dominance here. And as much as I would love to believe, it did show temporarily that Furrow was in the lead. As much as I would love to believe that Furrow is actually in the lead of this race in the Nissan, that is unfortunately untrue. He is actually in last place when it comes to the LMPs. So we're going to jump up on board with Conan once again, as he is the current leader in the LMP ones as we come down to about the final 5.5 minutes left to go. Looks like it's going to be an interesting battle here in the GT3s as Natty is going to try to close the gap to Method to try to go ahead and get an overtake down. Method, who had a kind of a rough start to this race, is potentially now within podium distance here for this GT3 field. So I still got to wait for the timing table to fully reset. He is actually one position away from a podium, so he has to get past Sparkane to go ahead and get that podium. But Conan is in the lead of this race, and Bolden, after that spin, he's just hasn't had the pace to really catch up. He's got 5 minutes left to go if he wants to go and try to win this race again. So it is the final 5 minutes left of the race, and here's a battle for the lead in the GT3 category. Rantanen and Sledgepin both fighting it out. And it looks like a bit of connectivity wobble there from Sledgepin there. So it's going to be, if that's also appearing on Rantanen's screen, then it's going to be a bit of a tricky ordeal to pass. He is with less than a tenth of a second away, trying to line up the pass. Going into turn 10, just doesn't have the real estate. He might try to get the switch back, and he does. He makes Sledgepin go deep on the brakes. And Rantanen is now in the lead of the GT3 category for Zenith Racing. A very good overtake there by the Finnish driver. And then we're going to go ahead and jump our way back up to the front. It is a GT Finland Racer 1-2 here in the LMP category. Coming up to the back of Natty. Oh, it's going to be a dicey one trying to pass through turn 13 and 14. But the pass is done. No harm, no foul. As they make their way through. And the closing stages of the race. The lights have been flashed against the Lexus Method. And he's going to go ahead and get on through. Trying to fight for a podium here with Mirone. So that is a podium attempt here. So Rantanen is given a blue flag. This is a legit blue flag because his countryman and race leader is directly behind him. So he gets on through without any issue.
Holy shit.
And so all these LMP2 or LMP1 cars are making their way through. So we'll see how this race is going to finish out, but I have a pretty solid feeling that's going to be a 1-2 for the GT Finland racers here in the LMP1 category. GT3 is a bit less decisive though, although it looks like it's going to be Finland domination here in the prologue, because Rantanen is in the lead by about a second and a half, and not really losing time, but not really gaining time either, so that time is staying pretty consistent, and I think Schlesman is actually soon going to be under attack. Oh no, he's not going to be under attack. The car directly behind him is Taters, which is an LMP1 car, so he's got to let him through. But, ooh, wow, that car kind of glitched out wide momentarily. Schlesman's connection is kind of making some drivers a bit worried, I'm sure. Unless it's only on our end, which that could be the case. But it is down to the final 2.5 minutes left to go, so drivers will probably get another lap or two in, depending on the class. So once again, it is Ikonen and Leninen taking P1 and P2 at the moment. See if there's any other close GT or LMP battles. And Furrow, his tires are on life support on that Nissan, but he might as well just go ahead and try to stick it out. Just because, I mean, he's only got maybe another maybe 1 or 2 laps left to go, probably 2 laps now, because he is, 2 minutes left to go and he's just starting a lap, so he's probably got this lap and one more in him. Unless he has a big moment here in the final stages of this race. Just making our way through the field here, looking for a battle to potentially spectate as we get towards the closing stages of the race. It looks like the field is pretty much just spread out pretty nicely, but here we go. Here's a battle for a podium, or a spot to potentially challenge for the podium. This actually could turn into a podium battle here if Natty keeps up the pace. Method is on the back of Natty here, so we'll see if the full velocity racing driver can go ahead and try to catch up. He is actually closing the gap to the Audi already just up ahead of Sparkane. So Sparkane is losing a good amount of time, so this really actually does become a fight for the podium here, as we're down to the final minute left of racing here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. 1 minute left to go in the prologue before we go ahead and wrap things up here. So it is a solid battle here for the podium, but it looks like the Audi just seems to have more corner grip than the Mercedes does, because the Mercedes does gain on that straight line speed, but it just kind of loses out when it comes to just a quartering grip. But also Sparkane is on brand new soft tires, so that really doesn't help Natty's case any. So we'll see how this all go ahead and wraps up, but right now it is looking pretty likely as we're down to the final 20 seconds of racing action here, and it looks like it is going to be a 1-2 for the GT Finland racers and a Finnish driver victory in the GT3 category, as we're down to the final 10 seconds of the race. So this will be the final lap for everybody after 34 laps of racing action here at Barcelona. It has been a ride of ups and downs. We had 2 safety cars, one due to a crash in the pits, and another due to, it was definitely another crash. I think it was an LMP crash that time. So he's coming around the final corner now. It is the final lap. It has been a very strong and consistent drive. It is a GT Finland racer 1-2. Ikonen takes the checkered flag first, followed by Lenonen. Mirone rounds out the podium. Bolden, who had a very strong race start, just had a spin up to the first safety car that kind of really put his race in a rough spot. He finishes P4, Taters P5, Ray Racer P6, and then the Toyota will come home in P7. So Audi dominates the top 6 positions, and P1 through P6 all in the Audi. Furrow is going to be the next car to go ahead and make his way across the line. He is behind some GT3 drivers. So Rantanen is making his way through the final corner now. And Rantanen is going to win the prologue here in Barcelona. What a drive from him. Slishpin comes home in second place after a tough battle with Furrow, as Furrow does try to jump him last moment. And then Natty comes home in P3. Sparkane takes the final spot on the podium for GT3s. Method comes on in 13th. And Creppy in P14. So that is the end of the race here. And the winner is that man right there, Conan. Started in third, ended up in first, taking a race win. So let's go and take a look at our final standings here once again. So the fastest lap does go to Conan now with a 1:21.873. He takes P1, followed by his teammate in P2, and then it's Mirione, and then Bolden, Taters, Ray Racer, Victorino, and Furrow, rounding out our top 8, and rounding out the that is the wrong input. I apologize. That rounds out our LP1 class. And then we have Rantanen, Slishpin, Sparkane taking up our podium in the GT3 category. And then it is Natty, Method, and Creppy. So once again, that is the end of the race here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. And it's been a very fantastic race here from start to finish. And tune in next time for IEC, when we go ahead and make our way to Daytona for 3 hours of Daytona to kick off the season here of multi-class racing at the Discord Racing Association. Once again, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekkas. I've been your host and commentator throughout today's race. Once again, a big thank you to DRA for allowing me to pop in here as a commentator and commentate this very fantastic race around Barcelona. And we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.